Welcome back on the AM show. My name is Benjamin Akakpo, and of course we're going to be talking agriculture to kickstart the show. That's our big story. Of course, right after that we'll get into the graphic Stanbic breakfast meeting. But for now, the Africa Agribusiness Excellence and Leadership Awards 2023 is to be held alongside Agro-Food and Plast Print Pack Ghana 2023. Promises to be another one of the biggest agribusiness events on the continent as we welcome international participation. Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana and partners are organizing this event to be held on the 22nd of November, that's actually tomorrow, at the Accra International Conference Center, Grand Arena. It's being organized in collaboration with AHK Ghana, a delegation of German industry and commerce in Ghana, and supported by Fair Trade Messe, the organizers of Agro-Food and Plast Print Pack Ghana 2023 exhibition and conference. Well, joining me in the studio to shed some light on that event, we call him Farmer, Anthony Morrison. He's Chief Executive, Chamber of Agribusiness. Good morning.
Good morning,
Anthony.
Benjamin.
And good to have you on the show.
It's been a while.
It has. You've got me thinking back to our school days. I wish I'd been your senior then to punish you.
You miss your regular cocoa, eh? The one from the pantry, you like it so much.
Nipa bread, like we've suffered.
This guy like beans with lot of weevils, with lot of oil.
Is it that I liked, or it was what was available?
You loved it. I mean, that nourished you. You were so short. Look at your height.
You realize how smallish I was at the time.
Yeah, I mean, you should go back and pay homage to Bishop Herman.
Bishop Herman, of course, we always pay homage to our alma mater. And look at how we turned out. So interesting stuff.
Yeah. And big ups to the guys out there who are doing so well.
Anyway, I'll talk about your food eating, dining hall exploits later.
That. You know the kinky.
The kinky was a special one.
Special, yeah. Nobody misses kinky.
You get some fish. Charlie, but we've seen times before.
I'm telling you, the jigbe fish, the fried ones from jigbe.
You're bringing back so many memories. Anyway, so let's get into the conversation. Even as we talk about agri, of course, we have to talk about food-related items. We have the Chamber of, Agri and what you've actually been doing. But I'd like to find out from you, what has your chamber been up to over the last few years? You've organized a few events, but what have you been up to?
Thank you very much, Benjamin, and very good morning to your cherished viewers. Well, the Chamber of Agribusiness was formed some 7.5 years ago through a CAG African Union program on the stock taking of continental agribusiness chambers in Africa. Throughout the process, the chamber has actually formalized itself with the Ghana's agribusiness sector, and we have been very key in pushing a lot of industry support. We're looking at advocacy issues with regulatory that affect our members and the general industry. We also seek to support our members in the trade exploration, trade facilitation, trade promotion. We also provide a lot of capacity building for them. We also try to support some of them with some finance interventions. And overall, we also work closely with government in areas of policy designs, joining some national stakeholder committees to provide our expert opinion on national policies and what have you.
I see. You've been helping to shape policy, which I find interesting then, because if you look at the current state of agriculture, maybe even linking it to the 2024 budget and what it says about agriculture, what do you see in there?
Well, I must say that we have done our bit, and we are actually grateful that even though it was still created by the same government, that the duties at the port has finally been taken off, but the impact still remains quite something that we need to begin to work around how to solve it. That also withstanding some elements within the budget. For instance, if you look at the poultry importation and what is being worked towards, we want to say that it's just too small a drop in the ocean. 15,000 metric tons is not what we should be looking at. Looking at the 1.2 billion poultry importation bill, And they also just oppose that with the rice. Coming to the studio, I listened to the trade ministry or the trade minister talking about abolition of rice importation. And I think that'll be good for the industry. It will bring some incentives. It will bring some private sector investment like what Jospon is doing.
Right.
And we need several such people. So, sometimes you just need the government to move some of these trade tools, support and give some vibrancy to the economy. And I think that this will be good for the sector. But we also want to say that they should also be brave to stop poultry importation, so that we can.
That's a tricky one.
Well, if you are stopping,
I remember Akoko Dako and all those back then, but the poultry industry is not what it used to be.
Yes. So if you are stopping rice importation, we are going to have a lot of rice brands, and rice brands are a major component of livestock feeding. So if you are going to stop rice, and rice is less than 6 months production, so why don't you also begin to take steps? Because the poultry industry is actually the biggest employer in the whole of the value chain.
I see.
Yes. So it's actually the sector that vibrates and gives impact to the whole sector. So if the poultry sector is doing, that means
the general agricultural sector?
Yeah. If poultry sector is doing, that means that the grain sector is working well. That's your maize, your regular cocoa and kinky that you love so much, your banku and tilapia. Then that means that the soya is also, the soya sector is doing well, rice sector is doing well.
Soya has had its own challenges in recent years and all of that. So basically, when you look at it from an overall point of view, the 2024 budget, for example, what it points to in terms of agriculture, is 2024 going to be a better year for agri?
Not that I think of. Looking at the 44 million budget allocation towards the industry, we are importing somewhere close to about $10 billion of food importation. If we are really serious and we want to work towards a 10-year strategy or a 7-year strategy, we shouldn't be looking at anything less than $1 billion investment into agriculture. Look, mind you, we import fat and oil, fruit juice, tomatoes, rice, sugar, poultry, meat, wheat. Just name them, several of them. I can continue naming them. So we need to make sure that any kind of investment actually is not a drop in the ocean. It's not just scratching the surface, but actually feeling the impact on the ground. We are importing all our 90% of our grains and cereals, okay? The seeds, we import them. All 90% of vegetable seeds, we import them. We do not have, as a country, a national seed bank.
I thought the CSIR had some things going on in that respect in terms of seeds.
If you look at the National Seed Album, it's only one seed that is named there. So
which is what?
Which is the Legon 18. So apart from Legon 18, which is pepper, what else? Okay.
So in other words, we need some sustenance of that locally.
Yes, because for instance, as I said, National Seed Bank is critical to every country. That is where if we can't produce our own seed and there is no country importing,
it means we're going to starve.
We are going to starve. We need a national seed bank that can keep seed for 3 years, 5 years. But we do not. So there is quite a lot of things that we need to do as a country.
This actually reminds me of the biblical, Joseph in Egypt and the storing of grain ahead of time.
That's it.
And it appears we are not forecasting correctly. But let's zero in now on the Agribusiness Excellence and Leadership Awards. This isn't the first time you're organizing it. Which edition is this?
So actually, this should have been the 5th edition.
Okay.
But because of our new partnership with our profound partners, AHK and Fairtrade, Geovision, we had a discussion and we thought that the time was ripe to distinguish the awards that has been done over the years. So we rechristened it the African Agribusiness. So it used to be the Ghana Agribusiness Excellence and Leadership Awards. We are hosting the After Secretariat. So we need to begin to transform our activities to make sure that we aligned everything that we do in conformity to the continental trade and areas that, and most importantly, because it's being held within this prestigious program where you are going to have about over 74 global exhibitors and other global participants partaking in this event, which is starting today. We rechristened it the African Agribusiness, which is actually looking at all the various value chains. So it's the Real Agro Industry Awards. So we're looking at the agro processing, we're looking at the women, gender, we're looking at social enterprise, we're looking at policy, we're looking at TVET. TVET, do you know how many skills we import into the agriculture sector and which countries they come from? India, Ivory Coast, Burkina Faso, South Africa, UK. We import skills all over the place. So TVET is a major part of these awards. And we also,
this is the first time you are incorporating TVET into it?
No, we have from day one. So we started in 2017, and we have since been awarding TVET institutions, both TVET personalities, TVET development partners that are supporting TVET development, and also TVET institutions. You know, myself, I chair the Ghana Agriculture Sector Skills Body for Commission for TVET, and I have been involved in this for over the past 7 to 8 years. So our understanding of the TVET sector is quite clear. That is what we need to transform the agriculture sector. Skills is very important.
Right.
Yes.
But overall, how many awards are we looking at?
So we are looking at 44 awards, with 8 being going for lifetime achievement. We have distinguished people that have done a lot for this country, and it's time we recognize them. It's time that we appreciate them while they are alive. So we will have this in Ghana. Next year, it could be held in South Africa, Morocco, Nigeria, because they are coming and they are bidding to host it next year.
I see. That's interesting. I've seen some, some of these agri events also go to Rwanda. I don't know whether that's a place you are considering based on what they are doing in agriculture. So I see a number of awards: Agribusiness Industry, Agribusiness Company of the Year, Promising Agribusiness Company of the Year. There's also Livestock Company of the Year, Vegetable Value Chain. So like you mentioned, quite a number of them. But what are the KPIs? What goes into selecting an individual, an entity for any award?
So the good thing is, unlike any other awards out there in the name of agriculture or agribusiness, we are a chamber. So we preside over the industry. We have partners, and we have membership. So we are not a company, so we are not more of the profit aspect. We have a partnership with BASPAC, that's the Business Advisory Service Providers Association of Ghana. We have the Ghana Agriculture Economics Association, and we have all our other partners, NASDAQ, CropLife, VPEC, all other associations. So nominations come from all of them. Then we have a centralized committee made up from representations from all these institutions, and they'll come together to look at the profiling. After that profiling is done, then it goes to a team of experts. So industry finished working. So we are actually bringing in the way of designing TVET curriculums. So we design this so the TVET curriculums is designed by industry, 70% of the industry, 10% of academia, 30% of academia research. That is the same process that this.
So for these 44 awards, how many generally did you get in terms of nominations?
We had over 270.
And out of that, you picked 44?
Yes, not only in Ghana, but across the continent. So some of us were in South Africa 2 weeks ago to meet the South African team, profile them. So we have Nigerians that also profiled, Morocco, Egypt, Rwanda. So this is not.
So it's pretty broad.
Yeah,
it's becoming African.
Exactly.
The footprint is spreading far beyond Ghana.
One major criteria for this award is that the country that is hosting wins 70% and 30% to the continent, because we want to, because it's moving from country to country.
Right.
Sometimes you may be missing a very important awardee who should be awarded, but because it's more continental, they are being missed. So we want to take into consideration. So you will see more of Ghanaian companies winning and personalities, and you should come to see who is going to be the most influential Agribusiness CEOs
of the year.
Of the year.
Okay, so let's talk about the event proper as we cap off the conversation. Of course, your strategic partners are Abanga Group, Ghana Agrofood, Ghana Plast, Print Pack, and GeoVision. I'll let you shout them out at the very tail end. But the theme, after an Africa's agriculture sector, synergy to stimulate and accelerate sustainable economic growth and food security. What went into that? Why that?
Well, this is the first time we are hosting the awards as an African Agribusiness Excellence and Leadership Awards. And we deem it fit that we need to promote the after. We need to promote the good works. After is a big animal. It's a rolling stone, but everybody needs to come on board to give it a push. For the agriculture sector, we have been...
We've not even started tapping into after yet.
Not
Where
yet,
is it?
just like the Agua. So we are beginning a project next year with GIZ ECOWAS called the EAT, which is the ECOWAS agriculture trade, and which is also a major component of this. And we deem it fit that based on our next year's projection as a country, industry, and as a chamber, we want to promote as many trade within the Africa continent between Ghanaian businesses and that of our continental partners. We have already done that with Egypt, with Morocco. South Africa is one of the biggest trade partners to Ghana, and we are also deepening that with Ivory Coast and also with Nigeria, of course. So we realize that there is a need to have a strategic synergy, a synergy that possibly does not involve too much outflows of money, but a way to move goods and services in a way that supports industrialization. So for instance, if Nestle is in Ghana, Nestle is in Nigeria, and I'm a maize producer and Nestle needs my maize in Nigeria, it should be flown to them, but Nestle here could possibly also pay me in kind with input, with machinery. So we are looking at a broad-based approach within the value chain. What is possible, because now global funding is drying up, investments are drying up. Today I was looking at something that somebody says that why is it difficult for investors to put in money into the African market? Is it the knowledge gap, or is it our culture that is not fitting into the global system?
Right.
So we need to redesign our own trade rules. We need to design our own trade policies that actually assimilate within our culture. Let's not just adopt and embrace it. We're not looking at the French policy of assimilation. I know you speak a lot of French, but we're looking at the Greek assimilation system, where the culture, the people are integrated and not delink from the system.
Right.
They have to be properly aligned so that we are able to advance the cause of trade, especially food trade in Africa.
So to cap off the conversation, it's happening at the Accra International Conference Center Wednesday. What's the time? Who can participate? And then you can shout your sponsors.
3 p.m. is the time. We don't want to do a late show. And all the international exhibitors are also part of it. So if you want to increase your networking opportunity, this is the time. We are providing special invitations. But if you are out there and you want to be part of it, you can give it us a shout, or you go to our website and send us an email, chamberofagribusinessghana.org, and we will also pay attention to your email. But we want to say a big thank you to Fairtrade, our strategic partners, and also, most importantly, AHK, who have been partners with the Chamber for the past years. Stephanie Simon, the manager, she's been fantastic, and we wish to continue to do this with you. And we want to also say a big thank you to our sponsors, Broad Spectrum, Maflix, and Agris of Ghana. All
right. Well, this has been our interaction with Anthony Morrison, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness. Of course, they have that event coming up tomorrow at the Grand Arena, the Accra International Conference Center, the Africa Agribusiness Awards. Anyone and everyone who is in the sector, who matters, ought to be there. And of course, there will be many awards going about. I know I've followed this for a few years now. A few years ago, I was at the Marriott event. So congratulations on keeping it alive. And it's good to see someone from my alma mater joining the conversation today. Well, do stay with us, because up next we'll be connecting to talk all finance and economics, if you like, when we contemplate the Graphics Stanbic breakfast meeting. We'll be taking you there live. But the 2023 European Union Climate Week event is just around the corner. So join us on Wednesday, that is tomorrow, the 22nd of November, from 2 p.m. at the West African Center for Crop Improvement, University of Ghana, Accra, for an insightful discussion on building resilience at community level, supporting farmers to adapt to climate change. The event will be live on your Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7 FM, from 2 p.m. The event is also part of the EU Climate Diplomacy Week and aims to bring together experts, thought leaders, stakeholders to discuss critical issues related to climate change and its impact on agriculture. There will be a panel discussion, or a number of them, in fact, delving into practical strategies for supporting farmers, addressing the challenges they face due to climate change. And the EU Climate Diplomacy Week is part of an annual global campaign launched by the European Union and its member states to foster cooperation on climate change and inspire real action. So, do not miss this incredible event. Save the date, spread the word, and be part of the movement towards a greener and more resilient future. Stay tuned for more events in Ghana under the EU Climate Week. You can find more details on the EU in Ghana social media pages, Facebook or LinkedIn at European Union in Ghana, on X or Twitter, YouTube, Instagram at Europe in Ghana, at Europe in Ghana, all put together. And that's for you to take note of. So, two gargantuan agric-related events tomorrow coming your way. One at the University of Ghana, like I just mentioned, and the other one at the Accra International Conference Center, Grand Arena. Do stay with us. We'll be back after the break.